In these examples, we're going to see what happens if we have remainder with our short division. Now there's no change to the process, and that's pretty handy because you don't always know you're going to get remainder till you're nearly finished. So let's do what we do with short division. We start from left to right. Our 7 is in the hundreds place, and we're dividing by 7. So we can share 7 among 7, and they would get 1 each. So there's 1 in the hundreds. And we've used all of those 700s, so we don't have any that we need to regroup. In the tens place, we don't have any. So what do we do here? Well, it's really important. Even though we can't share that among 7 because we don't have any, we still need to put down a 0 in the tens place. We've got no tens to share, but that means there will be no tens, and therefore a 0 to let us know where the tens place is. Okay, in our units place, we've got 8, and we're sharing amongst 7. So it's at this point you usually realise you've got remainder. Well, if we have 8, we can give them 1 each. And that means we've allocated 7 out of our 8, so we've got 1 remainder. So that's how we might write our answer. 708 divided by 7 is 101 with a remainder of 1. Now remember, we should really just check that our answer seems reasonable. If we had 1 in the hundreds place of our answer, and we multiply that by 7 now to see if we can get the number close to what we started with, we get 700. And we started with 708. So that's pretty good. That tells me that we're fairly close. Now that 0 placeholder is important because that helps us know that we've got 100 and something as our answer. Now this next problem, we're going to need to do some regrouping along the way. We've got 940 and we're going to divide that by 8. So we've got 940 to start with. I know that 8 times 100 would give me 800. So my answer needs to be greater than 100 because I've got more than 800 to start with. 8 times 200 is 1600 or 1600. That's way too much. So my answer needs to be less than 200. In fact, it's much closer to 100 because 940 is much closer to 800 than it is 1600. So I'm looking for an answer close to 100. Now that I know that, I can actually start to work through and make sure I'm on track to get an answer that's closer to 100. Now we've got 9 in the hundreds place when we start from the left, which we always do. So that means if I'm sharing that among 8, I can allocate 1 each. And that means I've allocated 8 and there's 1 left over. So that 1 of the hundreds, we're going to regroup that as 10 of the tens. And we've got 4 of the tens already there. So we've now got 14 tens. We can actually allocate 1 each, and that takes care of 8 of the tens, but we've still got 6 tens left. So with those 6 left, you'll notice there's currently a 0 in the units place. Those 6 tens are actually going to be renamed as 60 units. And there's no units there, so we've still got 60 units altogether. So how many can we share when we divide by 8? Well, let's think about this. I know that 8 eighths are 64. So if 8 eighths are 64, that's too many. 8 sevens, well, they're 56, or 7 eighths. It's the same thing, whichever way you say it. So that means I can allocate 7 each. And if I have 7 in my units place, I've allocated 56 out of the 60 units. So there's 4 left over. So I've got a remainder of 4. In fact, we've got a remainder of 4 and we're dividing by 8. So we've actually got 4 eighths as our remainder. And we can express our remainder of 4 that we want to share among 8 as a fraction. 4 eighths. Well, 4 is half of 8. So 4 eighths is the same as half. So we can write that as 117 and a half. And if you needed to write it in decimals, a half is 5/10, so it would be 117.5. So the process didn't change at all. We just have a little step at the end to deal with our remainder.